Hello, everyone. Today I want to discuss the SAMR model. I found this model quite interesting versus TPAC because TPAC is a general thing, and it seems like people would have a good understanding of using it before they could implement TPAC, which I have seen some teachers try to implement TPAC without any background knowledge, or they just try to do it in a week, which is it's not really doesn't really work so well. I've seen teachers try to use an online program and they're just, oh yeah, I spent 20 minutes with it before class, and then they just fall flat on their face. Well, as the SAMR model, to me, it feels like you're slowly doing the same thing, but you're doing it in steps. So you're kind of breaking down that model or what you're going to do into a series of steps for substitution, augmentation, a modification, and redefinition. Redefinition would be naturally the last step. But for example, substitution will allow a supplement of materials. So for example, you want to use textbook, we can do it on the big TV. Everyone can see the textbook, and same as vice versa, whereas they were seeing it on the textbook. And then I could take it a step further using augmentation, where I use the big TV and I can zoom in on things and highlight and circle things, where it is kind of the same thing if I was telling the students to do it. But if I said it to a classroom of 30 ESL students, not everyone's going to do it because there is barriers that stand in the way. So with the audio and visual representations, they're able to see exactly what I want them to do, whether it's highlighting or underlining a certain word or looking at a certain place or paragraph. And then I can also, using the TV, which brings into modification, I can change my class to implement that technology into the class instead of just it being there, using it only once in a while. But so for me, I use it almost every other day or every day, where instead of doing just read the books, I can do video books on the TV and everyone can read along, or I can ask a certain student to read what's on the TV. And then, which brings me to the final step, redefinition. Redefinitioning, sorry. I read that wrong. That allows us to do things we weren't able to do without technology before. So, for example, one way I've used redefinition is through listening skills. I think I might have mentioned this in a previous discussion, but I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, we have to listen to kids practice their lines like, hello, Bob, how are you? I'm going to the market today. Where are you going? And so before, I'm just going to hold up a phone case, just as an example. Modification would allow us to listen to each one individually, which takes a long time, especially if you have 120 students. That's my limit right now. I have 120, and then another 300 at my school. So, all together, that's like 500 recordings to listen to. So I came up with an idea to make my work simpler, which falls into the redefinition category. What we did, or what my company did, is we hired 30 foreigners, and we were able to use WeChat to create a mini program within the program. And this program uses audio recordings from 30 different foreigners saying the same phrases over and over again from, different emotions, different phrases, different idioms, and then whatnot. But anyway, the AI will examine these voice recordings and then it'll apply it to the student's voice recording. So when they go to the app, they can click on the phrase and then they can repeat the phrase that's on the phone, which is the one that they need to practice in the book. And so that AI will listen to them and then it will grade them on how well they did. Like, oh, you mispronounced the word what, or you could work on this part more and more. So the AI is doing all the work for us now, and we still listen to them, but we don't have to, or at least we don't have to listen to every single one, because there's going to be some students where they're just going to get it right. They're not going to have an issue because you've heard them in class already. But there are some kids that have pronunciation. So I can see the lower scores and I can turn the focus onto those students that need the help. So this is how redefinition using AI has allowed us to do something we wouldn't be able to do, because keeping up with 500 students, it's just not possible. It's too hard. Someone will slip through the cracks. So this is how I use the SAMR model in my class, using TVs, AI, programs. This is how I do it. But this is not something you could just implement overnight. So like TPAC, someone would look at it and say, oh, okay, I want to do this, do this, do this. or SAMR, it kind of breaks it down into steps so teachers and everyone else can do it over a period of time, not just instantaneously. Okay, I would like to hear your questions and let me know. Bye.